chemistry just doesn't work with a player. And, with Rod, he has, certain standards that he looks for in a player, and I just don't think they ever saw eye to eye in terms of what that standard should be. And I wish Taco nothing but the best, and I actually think he'll go on and be a productive player in this league.
First-round draft pick from 2017. We're just 2 weeks into the season, and he's already gone. But these guys are still happy. Cover 4 is here this morning. We're going to break it all down for you. And, yes, we are going to talk about Miami because you can't just ignore the team, right? You're right. This is the NFL. Everybody's good.
We probably could, but we'll talk about them.
Well, Dave, the locker room disagrees with you, or so they tell us. So we are going to talk about it all. But first things first. Kind of knew the writing was on the wall for Taco. They make it official yesterday. Jason Garrett wasn't going to give us any hints, though, in the morning.
Yeah, he didn't want to make that easy on us. Cowboys waited all the way till the 3 p.m. The deadline to get Robert Quinn onto the roster. Tried to trade him. Probably didn't work out since we've been talking about cutting him for the last 3 weeks. Sorry, Taco. Just didn't work out.
You had some great headlines ready, though. You did.
Man.
The street taco. What were some other ones?
No bueno.
No bueno. That was very good.
Rub some people the wrong way that those were the headlines from DallasCowboys.com, but from what the people in the building with Taco, we've been feeling this, that he's wanted out for a while and that this is not a new thing. This has been, probably a year-long thing.
I mean, he asked for his way out. And even when I was playing here for the Dallas Cowboys, they always felt that it was a privilege to work here, not a right to work here. And he asked for his way out, and the Cowboys are like, hey, if you're not on this train, you got to go. And we've seen the results of that.
That's actually, you took the words right out of Will McClay's mouth. Going back all the way to the spring, he's like, the train's leaving the station. Taco can be on it. He doesn't have to be. And now he's not.
Yeah.
Talent, production was always part of it, but more than anything, you kind of got the sense attitude was a big part of this. And at the end of the day, you asked for your way out, they gave it to you.
Yeah, you got to buy into the program or else you will find yourself struggling to fit in. And unfortunately, that seems to be the case with Taco. But now they have Robert Quinn on the team, and Taco made room for him with his release.
All right, let's hear from Robert Quinn, who spoke to the media and practiced yesterday for the first time in the regular season.
D-Law is kind of he wears the crown around here respectfully. But with me and the other guys, we kind of have to catch up to him, bring that extra juice, the energy, and get a lot of pressures, hits, sacks on the quarterback, disruption. But again, it's not just us two. It takes all 4 of us, and even the back 7 to cover the guys. So it's a whole unit out there working, not just an individual man. Was it hard? Nah. I mean, you look how you're excited. The offense moving the ball ridiculously, defense playing great. I mean, it was. I guess in a sense frustrating because I couldn't be out there, but I was excited for all the guys who were out there making plays. And like I said, when I did my work in the morning. In the afternoon, I got to kick my feet up and watch the guys work. So I'm happy for what the guys done these first 2 weeks. But as we see, those 2 weeks are behind us. Now we got to focus on this week. That's all that really matters.
Another guy who can rock the bald look so well, just like Barry.
Kind of like a 1B, 1A, 1B,
He's just copying your swag.
That's all it is.
I don't say this to sound mean, but I almost forgot Robert Quinn was on this team. Like, he hasn't been practicing since early August. He broke his hand. Then he goes on the suspension list. He's out of sight, out of mind once you cut the roster down. He showed up yesterday. I was like, oh, yeah, hey, Rob, good to see you again, man. It's been about a month and a half. And here you go, another guy that can rush the passer. Again, not great that you got to cut your first-round pick in Taco Charlton. This is a guy that's been to 2 Pro Bowls. I think the Cowboys are all right with that.
At one point, I kind of wondered if it was going to be Taco because of the injuries. Tyrone Crawford's not going to play this weekend, and people are hurt. And thought maybe, hey, you might want to keep Taco around, but obvious thing, again, they didn't want to.
I think it's more about attitude than what he can do for the team.
And you talk about attitude. I liked what Robert Quinn said yesterday in the locker room, talking about not outworking himself, not overdoing it, overhyping himself. He knows that he just needs to play, and Rod Marinelli is going to work him into this rotation. They're not going to overwork him. He just has all eyes on him because he's back in the lineup.
It's a fun dynamic, okay, the Hot Boys, which I guess Taco created that. Sorry, man, I think it's going to stay here in Dallas. But DeMarcus Lawrence, Antoine Woods, A lot of these guys are like boisterous, noisy, fun guys. I'm not trying to say Robert Quinn's not fun, but he's a low-key guy. I'm interested to see how his dynamic adds to this defensive line rotation.
Yeah, I think you convinced me earlier this week. I mean, I thought he was going to come out here and be an impact by himself, but I think he's going to open up more of the defensive line. Like, you can't double team Robert Quinn and leave Tank Lawrence by himself out there.
Yeah.
If you focus on both of them, you got interior guys that can do damage. I think he'll open it up for the rest of the defense.
I don't expect him to take over this Miami game all on his own, but I think him being out there is going to open stuff up for the guys that are already there. For sure.
Well, he changed his number, 58. Not really a defensive lineman number out there.
Some openings in the 90s now. Just saying.
The 90s. A quick break here from the studio. When we come back, we have behind enemy lines. Yes, there are some talented players like Dave's twin on the Dolphins. We'll talk about them all next. It's your twin.
You're watching Cover 4. Go Cowboys!
Getting fed right here. It's his time of the game to close it out.
Here's Prescott keeping for the touchdown. At the 40, running away. This is amazing. Touchdown. How about this, Cowboys?
About what they're going through at the first 2 weeks?
Well, a lot of the guys are gone, you know. So,
like every day.
Yeah.
The question, if you missed it, was have you talked to your teammates?
He ain't wrong.
They're hardly there anymore.
He ain't wrong.
But we got to talk about the guys who are there behind enemy lines. And I was on the radio last night with Brian Broaddus. Everyone knows him. And Charles Haley and Brian Broaddus were in agreement that this can be a game, it's so early in the season, that this team still finds a way to rally. If it's week 10, listen, I'm just saying, giving
Let it out
effort.
there, Lynn. Let it out
Effort.
there.
The effort could still be there if it's week 10 or 11, no. But maybe you might get a little bit of competition with this team. I'm just saying.
Were they not trying in week 1 and week 2 when they got outscored 102-10?
I doubt. I'm just.
She's just saying.
I'm just saying.
Do we
Okay,
have to?
all right,
Do we have to go over this on
Professional
Monday?
football.
We might have to.
I'm just saying.
All right. Who do we got?
I agree with Charles Haley. I mean, I can't believe that. I can't
Charles,
believe it.
he said that. Barry said that.
Behind enemy lines, Tay. Who do we need to remember this weekend?
Well, this guy is a known former Cowboy. Alan Hearns, who was cut right before Cowboys training camp, is now with his hometown team in Miami. He'll be returning to AT&T Stadium. We all saw the gruesome injury that he got in the Cowboys' first playoff game against the Seattle Seahawks last year. He overcame that and worked so hard in the offseason, and now he's producing for the Miami Dolphins. He's behind Devontae Parker, but I still think Alan Hearns will have a little bit of a revenge game this weekend. He knows these guys. I'm sure Tavon Austin, who was his best buddy in the Cowboys locker room, is going to be most hyped to see him.
Don't even know if Tavon's going to play
Yeah.
still at this point. But
Just dap him up on the sideline.
just
a quick dap up.
Right, Taylor, as far as the chip on your shoulder a little bit, because it was really close to training camp when the Cowboys told him
The
goodbye.
day before.
The week they went to camp, not great. So.
Who are you keeping your eye on, Barry?
I got to keep my eye out for, and who I kind of feel sorry for is Xavier Howard. I mean, he's kind of a last of the dying breed. I mean, he's a great defender. I mean, he's not everybody else. His whole boys are gone. And then he tweeted out late last night, kind of an old school Will Smith tweet where he was the last one in the room, the end of the saga. And I feel sorry for him, but.
He just signed a big deal.
Like,
he's not going anywhere. He's going to see this thing through to the end, which
the whole rebuilding years.
Hope it works out for him.
Rebuilding years is what Lindsay's kind of going off. They still have stuff to rebuild on.
I'm just saying they might find a way to. Everybody hates the Cowboys. Am I right?
Yeah.
Everybody hates the
play.
Cowboys. It's the one team you'll want to beat. I'm just saying, you might get some rallying.
I think you're just hedging your bets here. That's what I think.
I think the spread is 21.5,
Yes,
so I'm
it is.
thinking it might be closer than that is what I'm saying.
Okay.
I don't know. Vegas.
Sorry.
Who are you not forgetting about, though? You got to think somebody's talented.
Listen, it was a year ago on this show that I threw it up to my guy, Ryan Fitzmagic. It's looked more like Fitztragic this year, unfortunately. I didn't make that up. It's been a rough start. It's been a rough start for him. I feel bad for the guy. I love this dude's story, man. Undrafted out of Harvard. He's played for every other team in the AFC East besides the Patriots, a.k.a. all of the bad ones. And this is easily the worst situation he's ever been in, whether you want the Bills, the Jets, all the way back to his Houston days. It hasn't looked good. He threw, I think, 2 pick sixes and 4 total interceptions last week against the Patriots. Rooting for you as a person, Ryan Fitzpatrick. I'm not convinced it's going to get a lot better this week.
Wow.
Yeah, look, there I am. Happier days. Remember, he was the talk of the NFL
That was
a year ago at this time, and
this week,
not so
a
much.
year
It
ago.
was.
I love the sauce. I love the sauce right there.
Isn't that true?
I need to grow my beard longer if I'm really going to look like Fitz.
It is Thursday, so we got to do a little throwback Thursday. So
Check it
let's
out.
just really quickly walk down memory lane here. 2015. Let's go back to week 11 when the Cowboys played Miami. We all remember this.
Barry probably remembers it better
Barry,
than we do.
remember this? Here we go.
It was a rain game. I was on the sidelines, and all I remember is Greg Hardy talking to his agent saying, the Kraken lives in the water.
Rolando McClain making plays. God, I love that
Best
guy.
teammates I've ever had. I mean, he got a bad rap, but he was a great teammate.
No, I loved Rolando, man. That was everybody thought the Cowboys were going on a roll. This was the start of the comeback. And they played Carolina on Thanksgiving.
Let's just quickly forget that.
Yeah,
Go
that's
to
2015.
71 when the Cowboys played the Dolphins as well. This is obviously a more memorable one because the Cowboys got their first Super Bowl win.
Have you guys seen this conversation?
What a game.
This conversation going around Twitter about who would win between the undefeated 72 Dolphins and this Dolphins team? Like, people are arguing about this. I think this Dolphins team would crush these guys. It would be obnoxious.
The speed factor alone is
Speed, I think
Physicality.
they said the heaviest guy on that Dolphins team was like 265. Like, get out of here. There's linebackers that weigh
They
265.
were drinking beers at halftime. That's what they did back then.
Seriously, Lynn Dawson with his like Fresca and his cigarette at halftime of the Super Bowl. I mean, awesome for the Cowboys. Won their first Super Bowl, but
Lit night.
I'm taking the 2019 Dolphins over like any team from before 1980 easily.
not even
Barry
a
was
contest.
speechless on that one.
Yeah, it was not even a contest.
2-minute drill. All right, we're going to talk a little bit about quarterbacks right here because there are a lot of them injured. So the question is the NFL doing all it can to protect these guys? Is it unlucky injuries that are happening, or will they try to do more?
I gotta give it to my guy Dave Hellman's Twitter feed. If you guys follow Dave Hellman's Twitter, you have seen him talk about Dak Prescott and the fact that Dak Prescott is basically a linebacker out there. So the NFL is doing as much as they can with rules. They do need to be more consistent, but it kind of falls more on some of these quarterbacks. They need to be more like linebackers out there. They need to know when to slide, when to play right. We're looking at Drew Brees when he got injured. Oh, hate to see it. Hate to see
Something
it.
that the league could prevent.
The NFL is already doing. The NFL's already doing too much. Like, honestly,
You said it. They felt.
No, they really
You
have.
did.
Thank you.
Did you see? I know I'm speaking for the safety. Did you see? Did you see the roughing the quarterback penalty that basically won the Bears-Broncos game? It was a form tackle. It was perfectly legal. DeMarcus Lawrence got a flag for hitting a guy too low in the Redskins game the other day. It's garbage. It's utter garbage. They play football. I get it. You want the quarterbacks on the field because they draw the ratings, but it's garbage. You got. I mean, and late. There are late hits. Don't get me wrong. That does happen. But they're already doing too much. I'm sorry, quarterbacks. Sometimes you have to take hits too.
What do you think about Jamal Adams with the?
They fined him $21,000
Thoughts?
for love tapping.
Did you see it?
Crazy. Yeah.
It was a love
it's,
tap.
it's ridiculous. You can't even touch these guys. And if you lay on them, that's a penalty. It's football for one, and you can't lay on a quarterback. It's ridiculous.
It's-
I
Like
think
Dak.
ridiculous.
The wussification of America.
Wow.
I said, wow. I said that for Lindsay.
Like the Cowboys.
I said that for Lindsay.
Best
Up top,
first round
David.
picks in your O linemen,
That-
so you have the most bad
Say
O
it.
linemen.
Say the word. It's honestly, listen,
Say it with your
the
chest.
Saints have had a good offensive line, and Drew Brees does a great job of getting the ball out of his hand. It just speaks to the nature of football. Things happen. It's not the league's fault. They already do too much. Calm down. Can you tell that I feel a certain type of way about this?
David Hellman is
Thank you.
passionate about something, then it was a good day.
Thank
Because
you. I
usually
appreciate
you just
that.
chill
Yeah,
about it
I'm
all.
usually kind of chill.
Even keeled. We'll be back tomorrow, Friday. We'll be in these shirts. Dave decided to rock his today.
Casual Thursday. It's a
These
thing.
are awesome.
I'm making it a
Smith on
thing.
this one?
Cowboys Pro Shop.
Lindsay, you're so good at promoting stuff this year. Look how good I look. Wow. Hey, ladies. What's up?
Wow. Can we get a
Okay.
slow
Can we
push
get
as
off
we
the
say
air?
goodbye?
I feel uncomfortable now.
Bye. See you tomorrow.
This is all right. We've entered into. We've lost the plot.
I'm keeping it PG tomorrow.